In one of my recent vids, I spoke about the power of knowledge. Never underestimate that. And today I'm going to be sharing with you some of the pearls of wisdom I've collected over a lifetime as we go into 10 top tips for bushcraft. Tip number 1, secure your kit. Always make sure that your zips are fully done up. If you are clipping things together, okay, make sure that everything is fully clipped and in position and doing its job. There's nothing worse than having straps that just dingle dangle all over the place and will get you snagged in the undergrowth. So something that we often did as Raw Marine Commandos is to use either a green fabric tape or plain old zinc oxide tape. Works really well. If you're worried about being super tactical and the fact this is bright white, guys, just get a green marker pen, colour it in. The fabric tape tends to cling to the Cordura and to the nylon and to the fabric far tighter, I've personally found, than using duct tape and other alternatives. I can stow things away, fold things back on themselves and keep them neat and out of any trouble and from getting snagged, etc. But if I desperately need to use it, okay, and I've done this in a pinch, you can rip this stuff and it will tear quite nicely. You might also see that I've used a couple of bungees secured with tape to make an easy to get to toggle, and that's so that I can store additional items down the sides. Okay, again, keeping the profile of the pack close and tight and stopping anything from just shaking about all over the place. Perhaps I'm using my hammock, in which case I'm going to need somewhere to store my carabiners, and a nifty place to do this is on the carry handles of the bag itself. They're easy to get to, they're easy to hand. I might need them for a number of different purposes, okay? No matter what that is, I've got them and they're ready and they're good to go. Things that need to be readily deployed, okay, a bit like the waterproof cover for your bag, can quite simply often be stored tucked inside itself, okay, and then packed down just behind the carry handle. This just means it's going to stay where I want it to, but then if I need it like that, which often happens in the Great British Outdoors, I can pull this over and waterproof my equipment. Orange is optional. I don't need to hide from anyone. Tip 2, how to carry your kit. I see people overlooking this all the time. If it's got a chest clip and a waist clip, use it. You may notice that the waist one is actually above my belt, and the reason for that is the weight of the pack is now sitting and spreading across, okay, my hips. If I have it too far down and it's literally sitting in line with my buttocks, I'm not spreading the weight on top of my pelvis. That's being lost and it's actually hanging off of my shoulders. In addition to this chest strap here is a massive energy saver, as it's quite literally stopping me having to pull my shoulders forward to counteract the weight that's in the pack. So having that there is saving me energy. One final addition, which is pretty much standard on most modern bags now, is having a survival whistle, where all you've got to do is just tilt your head forward and blow straight into it. This is a simple thing which can quite literally be the difference between making an outdoor experience a pleasurable one and one of pure pain and misery. Another fundamental tip that I still see people failing to do is have comms. Almost all of us have a mobile phone, and if you're heading out into the outdoors, letting someone know where you're going and being able to quickly call that person or have them on speed dial is really important. If for some unknown reason you're funny about using a mobile phone or giving away your GPS signal, have an agreed plan with someone else who is going to meet you at a set time or place. Tip 4, have an emergency plan. Going one step further than just telling someone where you're heading to and having a mobile phone could involve you getting hold of something like What 3 Words app onto your phone. The entire grid cut up into 3-metre squares. This has already saved lives and it could save yours. Tip number 5, if you can do, be social and head out into the outdoors with a friend, because 2 brains are always safer than 1. Tip number 6, we're only ever as sharp as the tools we use when we're in the outdoors. I keep a small sharpening stone inside my knife sheath with me at all times, so I can ensure this stays absolutely at its best, and so do I. Tip number 7, always have the means to make a fire, even if you intend to just use a gas burner when you're in the outdoors. You never know when a fire might just save your life. Means to start a fire is not just ignition source alone, it's also having the raw materials to get that fire started and established. Always carry a backup ignition source, because firelighting can be trickier than you think. Remember, a fire doesn't just give you the ability to stay dry and warm, it's also giving you light, the ability to cook your food, to make water safe to drink, to signal if you're in distress, and to a certain degree provides you with protection from apex predators, no matter where you are in the globe. My next tip, tip number 8, choosing a place to camp for the night. This is a site I use regularly, you can see by me leaving this little rope up here. The reason I've chosen this, there aren't any plants here of specific scientific value that I'm going to be damaging, which enables me to have a fire here and not worry too much about damaging the seed bank. Little overhead danger, good open views, and I can't feel the presence of the wind too heavily this far into the woodland. Relatively flat, even floor to work with, and then a good sort of 100 to 200 feet over there is the water source. Not only am I protected from potential widow making branches, but there's also understory and then that canopy above giving me extra protection from things like rain. Tip number 9, if you, like me, get far too carried away when setting up before dark, make sure you've got your light source easy to hand. Have it in your top flap and get it out before it gets dark, and have it in your pocket and ready and good to go. Tip number 10, leave no trace when camping if you've had a fire. Water first, stab the ground to allow the water to get nice and into that deeper seed bank, make sure it's properly out and safe. Scoop up all of those now cold embers and throw them as far and wide as possible. That includes large logs, make sure they're out properly. Finally, cover back over with the leaf mould and earth that you would have removed before having your fire. Leave knowing that you've left no trace. Take only photographs and make only memories. These were pearls of wisdom that I've enjoyed sharing with you today. If you've enjoyed it, let me know in the comments box below. And if you've got any more to add, put those in the comments box below also.